Hey, I want to welcome you back to New Construction 101. We're going to talk about trimming. Here's one of the most masterful things that can be done in a house is a handrail. People walk into these two stories and they look at this handrail and they see how it curves all the way around up like this, and they're amazed at it. But what you guys don't understand is how much energy, effort this takes to put it together. They have to slice this handrail up in thin slices. Think of a slice of bread. They slice it up and then they end up putting about 4 pieces of bread together. They clamp it all together, they glue it, and then they let it set for several days. And they come back, take that off, and then it's all got to be sanded down. So this is a master craftsman that can do this. Now, here's the key. I want to point out down here at the spindles, this is what we call a newel post. Some of your builders will take an angle bracket, a metal angle bracket, and they'll put it right here. And then they'll take a 1x4 and they'll put that around there, and they'll say that gives you a solid stairway. In the newel post, you want to make sure that this gets cut into the tread, goes down into the bottom part here, and then gets bolted in there. We actually go all the way down to the floor joist, and then we bolt it right in from the floor joist. So when you've got a solid handrail, this thing is not going to go anywhere. I'm a big guy, I can move a lot of stuff, but I am not going to be able to move this thing. So that's the way you want to have a handrail. Then we come in and we glue it so that we've got a good solid surface, and then you wrap the carpet or put the wood right around there. So you want to make sure you get a good carpenter, you want to make sure you got the builder you can trust, you want to make sure you get a good trim carpenter. Now I'm going to point out one other thing. Over here on doors, one of the critical areas of the door is your hinges. A lot of trim carpenters will butt the whole jamb and everything right up against the stud that's here, and then they will screw or nail right to that. The best way to do it is you take the whole door, you center it in there, and you take shims, and the shims will fit together like that, and then you nail it together. You want to do it at both hinges. You want to do it here, here, and at the bottom, and then same thing here. You want to do it here, and you want to make sure it's done right here, and you want to do it there. What happens then, you don't have doors that are flopping open on you, and you don't have doors that don't shut solid, and you don't have doors that end up rattling a lot of times. So make sure you get a trim carpenter. Make sure your builder has a good trim carpenter that's going to do it this way. If they're going to do it a different way, time to find a different builder, okay? So let's go talk about cabinets. Hey, welcome back. We're going to talk about cabinets. 2 kinds of cabinets you can buy. You can buy factory-made cabinets. That's what we call, these are what we call the boxes. The boxes are without the doors on there, and you can buy them where they're set up, and then we take the dimensions of your kitchen, and we'll put those boxes together, and then we put them up on the walls. And then the cabinet doors come in after that. This particular builder is what we call a hands-on builder, and the difference with that is he physically builds his own cabinets right on the job. I personally like that a lot more because you get to come in here, you design your whole cabinet, and then he builds this kitchen around what you want. A 4x8 sheet of plywood is 4 foot by 8 foot. So it doesn't matter if you're going to have upper, lower cabinets. It doesn't matter if you're going to have cabinets that are this tall or this tall. The plywood's all the same, material costs you the same. But when you get the box cabinets, they're going to charge you extra for that. Now here's another big difference. When you come into a cabinet, I'm going to show you over here. Up in the corners up here, you have what we call nailers. These nailers are nailed and screwed right to the studs. A lot of cabinets don't have that. What they have is they have a plywood backing. It's a real thin veneer, and then they screw that to the walls. You get too much weight on these cabinets and they'll fall out. These types of cabinets, since they have that nailer up there and then the cabinets are nailed there and they're nailed underneath here, I could literally stand on these and jump up and down. They're not going to come off the wall whatsoever. Another thing that we like to do in our cabinets, this one is waiting for the drawers, but you have what's called drawer glides that go inside your cabinet drawers here. And what we like to do is we use those soft close ones. It's kind of nice if you got a slammer in the door, that'll slam only so far, and then it sucks it in the rest of the way, so you don't get anybody slamming them. What happens when you slam them is those fronts eventually will fall off, and so we make sure that we do that. Here's another thing we want to point out is the electrical. When you're doing cabinets, we get people who don't want to have the switches and they don't want to have the plates on the back wall, and we're going to show you some pictures of the different ways of doing that. It costs several $100s, maybe $300 more to have all your plugs and outlets put up underneath the cabinet, but it gives a really, really clean look and you don't have those switches. So we'll get you some pictures. You can see what that looks like. And the other thing is, figure out if you want to have under-counter lighting or if you want to have above-counter lighting. Because if you do, we need to know where to put these wires. It is very, very difficult to put under-cabinet lights in afterwards. So make sure that you do that. But insist, if you can, on a cabinet maker that will make the cabinets on the job. You get a much, much better job, okay? But that's one way of telling a much better builder from your average builder. So we'll talk to you later.